Jackie, you just recently... Sorry, that got me laughing. Okay.
That was awful.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back. We're so happy you're back. So, Jackie, you used to be a paralegal. You were a paralegal for how many years? 15, 20?
20.
20 years. You ever miss it? You ever want to go back to it?
No.
No.
That's the hardest job in the office.
Is it? Really?
Well, yes, I think it is.
You know what? I can see that. I think I understand because, whenever people hire a lawyer for their case, there may be the assumption that the lawyer is doing every single bit of the work on that case. Right. But really what the lawyer has is a valuable, hopefully, right-hand man or woman who is doing most of the grunt work, who's really involved in all of the information in the case, and that would be your paralegal, right?
Right. And so whenever we were talking about podcasts for this season here, I really wanted to talk about paralegals, even though it's not a legal thing. It's not like I'm going to talk to you about, hit and run or anything like that.
Yeah.
I really wanted to talk about, the guts of a firm and how you can know whether you're working with my firm or any firm, how you know whether you're working with the best people. You as a client.
Yeah.
How do I know as a client that I'm working with someone who's competent? I like saying someone who's the best. I just don't want you to be competent. I want you to be the best.
Yes.
And so I really wanted us to focus on that for a little bit because obviously we think we have the best staff and we're really proud of our folks. And I love introducing our clients, our new clients to my staff and who they're going to be working one-on-one with because, I think that we check off all the boxes about things that we're going to discuss today.
Yeah.
And so, I just, even though it's not I'm not sitting here teaching about something substantive, I still think it's very important with regard to whenever you have to hire a law firm, whether it's a law firm for personal injury, for your wills, estates, for your real estate, whatever it may be.
So what makes an excellent paralegal?
Well, let's make sure we understand because so many firms in the past have used the term paralegal and used it to just create everybody's a paralegal. Everybody from the mail runner to the copy girl to paralegals. They just call everybody paralegal.
Wow.
And that just kind of devalues the profession, I think, because a paralegal is someone who has legal knowledge either through their education, their experience, one of those two, and then they can apply that to their job, and they can do anything a lawyer can do except give legal advice and have their own clients. So those are two things. They can't give legal advice and they can't have their own clients. Now, as a paralegal, whenever I was a paralegal, I got my education and then I got my certification. And so, I took the test, I got my degree, I took the test. I knew the answers to the questions that I was asked so many times, but I just had to be careful about distilling legal advice. Right. And that was probably the hardest thing is that I knew the answer, but I had to get it I had to say either the attorney said X, Y, and Z, or, confirm with the attorney that would be their advice and then convey that, hey, I've talked to the attorney and the attorney has said we're going to do X, Y, and Z, or this is the answer to your question.
Wow.
But, that's a paralegal. And sometimes in law firms, different law firms call paralegals different things. They may call them case manager, but they're the paralegal. They're the person that's working directly under the lawyer, and they're handling your case and handling the substantive parts of it, not just the periphery, not just the administrative. They're actually working your case.
And just to clarify, you don't necessarily need the education track to be a paralegal. You can gain that experience and still be a true paralegal?
You can. I mean, one of the best paralegals I know went from being a waitress at Western Sizzlin' to switch from that job straight into working in a law office. And within, a few months, they made her a paralegal once she kind of got her feet wet and understood what she was doing. Now, to be certified in North Carolina, I haven't looked this up, but I'm doing it from memory. I think now we're beyond the grandfather period, and you must have some type of education to be certified. But you can still have the title paralegal based on your experience. There are plenty of folks who have been paralegals for 20 years and just chose not to get certified for whatever reason. So they can, but for the most part, most paralegals in 2024 do have some type of education and want to get their certification, which is a statewide test. There's a statewide test through the North Carolina Bar, and then there's also a national test, I think, through, it used to be called NALA, and they may have changed their name recently, but it used to be called NALA, a National Organization for Paralegals and Legal Assistants.
So I guess, again, we shouldn't just assume that, but you consider like the certified part that goes behind whenever you see someone's name, paralegal certified,
right,
or whatever, that's like a security blanket. You know that you know that they are competent in their job,
right?
But it doesn't necessarily mean they're the most excellent, because, like you said, the most excellent that you've seen has been experience.
Yeah, so I'm not discounting experience alone.
Yeah.
I think education's important.
Yes,
but there are certainly some folks who break the mold on that and don't need the education. Although even though I was considered a paralegal, I still wanted my education because I wanted to have that foundation as well. I wanted both experience and education. I wanted both.
Yeah.
So. And one of the most important things that they do is they are the intermediary between the attorney and the client a lot of times. Mm-hmm. If I'm in depositions, I'm in mediations, I'm in a trial, I'm in court, I'm in an arbitration, you're not going to get to me. Mm-hmm. But you can certainly get updates and talk to your paralegal about the case. Mm-hmm. And we're all communicating about your case on our case management system. So every time you call in, whether you talk to me or an admin or a paralegal, the notes getting made in the case, I know what's happening in the case. Mm-hmm. I just may not be the one talking to you. And the great thing I like, I think one of the best things about a paralegal, and whenever you're going to have one of the best, mm-hmm. is that they can take these complicated scenarios and this complicated terminology and break it down and talk to you. I like to call them a translator.
Oh, yeah.
They can translate it, because that's what I like to do. I don't have to get a new client in here and impress them with my legal terminology, talking about the corpus delicti or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. I know some Latin. Good for you. Yeah. But what does my client understand about that? And I like for my paralegal to be able to do that too, to take that complicated legal concept and to explain it to the client without not legal advice, but explain it to the client. So that they understand whatever their level is. Mm-hmm. They may be a doctor. I've got clients that are doctors. Great. But I also have clients who, didn't get out of junior high. And I want to make sure everybody can understand what's happening in their case. Yeah. And a good paralegal can do that.
They translate from legalese to the common language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Cool. So they're translators.
Right. They're trustworthy.
Okay.
Confidentiality, that's the first rule about the law office is we have people calling in all the time asking questions about clients' cases, whether it's health insurance, whether it's your provider. Sometimes it's just random people, family members sometimes call in. And we just have to be careful about communicating with folks that we don't have permission to communicate with. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's healthcare providers checking on, when's my bill going to get paid, or is this person still treating, or whatever the case may be. But, confidentiality is really important. And a good paralegal, the best paralegal, is going to understand that and understand, even though you want to be professional, there are things that you cannot discuss. And so you just need to, make that known. And, we can confirm someone's our client. That's not a breach of confidentiality. But a lot of times beyond that, they have to, all the bells and whistles are going off in their head about what can I tell this person? First of all, who is this person? I mean, they've told me who they are, but I don't know this person. I don't know who I'm talking to. Right. And so we really have to think about that. And the best paralegal is going to keep your client's information confidential. It's never happened in my firm, but I have heard, of other situations where paralegals did divulge information that they shouldn't have done. Mm-hmm. And it can put the attorney in a bad spot. because the paralegal is an extension of the attorney. So if the paralegal breaches confidentiality, that can result in a bar complaint for the attorney. So you really have to be serious about that. And the best ones know how important that is. That's like rule number 1, first day. The other thing, the next level of thing beyond confidentiality is just, the best paralegals are proactive. I mean, that is their middle name. They are following up on assignments.
Yeah.
They are keeping the client's case moving.
They are staying in communication with those clients.
They are communicating with that
Yeah.
client on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Whether it's it doesn't always have to be a phone call.
Right.
It can be a text, however that person wants to communicate with.
Right.
And, I always ask my clients when they come in, do you prefer text or email or phone calls? What do you prefer? And I circle something on the intake sheet. Because, if they're 20 and all they want to do is text with you, then we'll text.
Yeah.
And if they want to email and if they just want to call, then we'll do that. But being proactive is probably one of the most important things, because they have to keep the case moving without being told what to do. Now we have great software and great case management that helps us keep our cases moving. But someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference between being an I don't mean just, but please take that out. That's the big difference between being administrative staff and being a paralegal. Administrative staff comes in every day and is given tasks to do.
Right.
Please get these letters ready. Please prepare these pleadings that I've drafted. Please
make these copies, file these things.
This filing needs to be done. Those kind of things. A paralegal should be proactive, and they should be the ones taking the lead on their cases.
Yeah.
And a good paralegal does that. A good paralegal, I say, calls the client before the client calls us.
Yeah.
And
I know that you can't always prevent delays or prevent obstacles from stalling the case, but within their scope, within their capabilities, they keep the ball rolling, they keep it moving.
Right. And I'm not saying we're perfect at it.
No.
I mean, we try. We really do try.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's been times where there would be a note about following up, and I think the paralegal's done it, and the paralegal thinks it's something that I need to do because maybe it involves legal advice, and then neither one of us do it. And that's a problem sometimes.
We're all human.
Yeah. And then sometimes there are clients who want a lot of follow-up, and there's just we do want to follow up, but we can't follow up every day. There's not going to be changes every day in your case.
This is true. This is true.
There's got to be some moderation there.
Yeah.
But those are the things that, regardless of what kind of firm you're working with, whether it's personal injury or whether you got a real estate closing, it doesn't matter. Those are the things you're going to look for with in a firm for their support staff, because you can have the best attorney, but if that attorney doesn't have the best support staff, and especially somebody up at the top, a paralegal, then you're going to have issues with working with that firm. Things are just not going to get done. The attorney can't do it all.
Yeah. And I know you kind of touched on it, but I just want to, I just want to bring it on home and say, yes, you can also have the most confident paralegal, but they need to have great customer skills too.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not always going to have the most friendly of conversations with people, especially if there's high emotions going on.
Oh, absolutely.
And being able to separate the personal from it and being a professional and handling those sometimes very difficult phone calls.
Yeah. We have that a lot, especially when what we do with personal injury, especially that first few weeks after an accident or after somebody's lost a loved one, or you've been injured on your job, you're out of work. There's high emotion there because your world has just done a 180, Even just losing your car. I mean, I have one car. If I lose my car, you've turned my world upside down.
Yeah.
And I certainly understand that. I've been in that situation. Mm-hmm. And so, we do try to take that with a grain of salt. And that's what a good paralegal is going to say. I understand your frustration. what step, proactively thinking, what can I do to help alleviate some of this stress? What steps can I take right now to help alleviate that? And I think we do a pretty good job of that. We can't force insurance companies to do anything. They may take their time because their middle name is delay. And they love nothing more than delaying. And but we can certainly put as much pressure as we can on them to move quickly and let them know we're not going anywhere. We're here. And believe me, they know whenever they get a call from us that we're like a dog with a bone until you respond to our client's immediate needs. And so, that's just talking about our paralegal staff. But you're right. Paralegals in general certainly need to do that, need to be aware of that, that sometimes they're dealing with very folks who are in a very emotional charged state because of their situation.
Yeah. Do you think you were an excellent paralegal during your 20 years?
I think I'm a better attorney because I was a paralegal.
Oh.
So obviously my former boss would have to tell you that.
Oh, okay.
But I think I'm a better attorney because of it, because I was on the front lines. I was the foot soldier. And so I understand what that job entails and how crucial it is.
Yeah.
But that's, I know it's short and sweet, but that I really did want to talk about that today. And so I appreciate you letting me squeeze in a podcast about working with the best and making sure that regardless of what firm you're working with, you got really good folks that are communicating with the client. The client should understand that as well.
Yeah. Which means that you also then have high standards for your own paralegals.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about what makes an excellent paralegal, and we hope that you'll join in next time. Thank you for listening to Laughter in the Law,
where we talk about the law with a lighthearted twist.